Okay, so we're going to be looking through, I don't know, I just wanted to kind of make a video about doing some arrays to kind of get us started on what we're going to do. We're going to do like a little bit of coding here, I think, to finish up stuff in like topic 4. So some of the things that we need to cover in there are, it's just generally about using arrays, doing like different searches on them. There's a lot of stuff about like writing algorithms, and I think just looking at like the tests that I see, there's just a lot of stuff about arrays, like I said, like about sorting, but also about like writing algorithms to find indexes. Like it seems like the favorite coding thing on the exam is generally something about arrays. Like the last question, one of the last questions is always about arrays. So I want to take a little bit of time to kind of make sure that we really have this down and understand what an array is. So I'm going to work through. I'm going to use Replit, this teacher thing that I think we've joined the classroom, or maybe we'll join it kind of coming up. But let's talk a little bit about what an array is to begin with. An array is, the best way to think about it is it's like a kind of a box with a bunch of containers in it, like different sections in it. Sometimes people talk about like an ice cube tray, where there's like the ice cube tray is like one whole thing, and there's like these different boxes in there. You could also think about like a set of lockers at school. I don't know if Woodstock has lockers, but if you look at a set of lockers, it's like one whole big thing, and then there's like the individual spaces for each locker. That's basically what an array is. And here, I'm going to do my awful drawing skills here. That's like the little lock on a locker, right? And what we have, oops, I'm just kind of getting towards the middle. Um, and so what we have with these lockers is, well, they're all kind of together, and they all have locations like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so now, I mean, in Woodstock, we probably start counting at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but obviously, how coding is. We start at 0 and then continue from there. So and that's the key part about an array is that it has a location. It's called the index. So that's like this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is all an index. What else does an array have? So array is normally used to store things like, um, I mean, there's a million different things we could store in an array, and that's what's so powerful about it. Like, so for example, if we wanted to, for your IAs, like you might want to be creating like a student registrar, right? And for a student registrar, like we need to have a bunch of different students. I don't know what kind of students we want to have. We want to have a bunch of different students, so maybe we make a class student. And we have like student A, student, I'm going to do lowercase. Not, it doesn't really matter, but it's just proper. See? I don't know, and like they have a bunch of stuff attached to them. They might have their like year of entering Woodstock, their current GPA, their colleges that they're applying to, whatever. They have a bunch of stuff in here. So maybe we want to we want to look through this registrar and we want to find all the students who are, or like, okay, we have a bunch of students and we want to find out like, okay, who is taking computer science right now? I have all these 90 something, seniors at Woodstock, and we're going to find just the ones that are taking computer science. Well, if we have all these like individual students, like student A, B, C, D, like, and we have to like search through each one individually to find them, find their location, find where student A is stored, search them, and then go to student B, C, D, E, F. It's obviously going to take forever. So what we should do is we should put these students into a locker. It's kind of like a bullying thing, but that's not what I mean here. So we're going to store them in an array. And we're going to have all these students, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, for example, in this case, stored into an array. And so now if I want to find all the students who are, I don't know, have a GPA higher than 3.5, instead of having to try and figure out where they're stored at, where did I save them, what's their name, and I got to run this, I can just store them all in the array, and then I can look into that array, and look through each one of the lockers or like the spaces, each one of the indexes, and then find the student that's in there, get their data, find out like the year that whatever we're trying to find, their current GPA, and then return it. So we could do something like it would be like loop through our pseudocode for this might be like this is just called an array. We didn't really name it. We should be naming it. Let's call this array, and we'll call it registrar, right? So either that or locker. Loop through registrar. Um, if if student greater than 3.5 or whatever, I don't know, whatever, probably doing IB stuff, so something different. If the student has GPA greater than 3.5, we're going to print that student. And that's just, I mean, that's some pseudocode. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff we need to do in there. But that's the power of this, right? We can look through the registrar and we can find each individual person. So far, if we don't know much about arrays, it'd be hard to imagine, like, okay, well, how do I make a registrar? How do I store all these students' data? And this is how we're going to do it. We're going to do it using an array. So that's, I guess I'm gonna leave off there for the first video, like what is the point of an array. This is the value of an array, something like this, storing and making a collection out of data. Some important things in there. It needs to store an index, or actually not store an index, I'm thinking of two things at once. It has an index, the index is location. And then the other thing that I was going to say is that an array stores only one type of thing. One type of thing. So if we want to store students in there, that's fine. If we want to store integers, that's fine. But we can't store students and integers. An array can only take one type of thing in there. So those are the two key important things I would say to begin with.